House Republicans say the president's budget proposal is dead on arrival. Here's the House Budget Chair, Paul Ryan, and the ranking Democratic member, Chris Van Hollen, squaring off on the issue just yesterday.
What is frustrating about the White House is they've had 4 budget submissions, and they've decided to duck this challenge every time. More debt, more spending, more taxes. That economy, that will lead to austerity.
What we need to do is take a balanced approach to deficit reduction. That's what Simpson-Bowles did. That's what other bipartisan groups did. We need to make some cuts, and the administration's budget makes $2.50 in cuts for every $1 in revenue.
Let me get in here.
That's a balanced approach. That's fair. That's what the American people want.
Well, Jason Chaffetz is a Republican, sits on the House Budget Committee. He's on his home district of Salt Lake City today. Sir, good morning to you, and happy President's Day.
Good morning. Good morning.
You know, Paul Ryan was on our program last week, and he talked about the president's proposal. He had nothing good to say about it. And over the weekend, he says that proposal will increase spending $1.5 trillion. It'll increase taxes $1.9 trillion. What do you think of this budget idea?
Well, it's so funny. Mr. Van Hollen keeps saying he wants to take a balanced approach. The problem is the president's budget never balances. If you were to spend $1 million a day, Bill, every single day, it would take you almost 3,000 years to get to $1 trillion. When the president took office, the debt was about $9 trillion, and under his own numbers, his most optimistic scenario, he takes it to $26 trillion. We're spending more than $733 million a day just in interest on our debt, and that's the president's plan, and that's why it's so problematic.
Who do you think is serious about taking this on?
Well, I think the House Republicans have done their job, and we're going to be introducing a budget. Remember, under the budget we did last year, we not only balance, but we actually pay off the debt. The president's budget, which went before the United States Senate, was defeated 97-0. There wasn't even one Democrat that would vote for it. And so now when I asked Secretary Geithner last week if he wanted the Senate to vote on the president's budget, he wouldn't even commit to that. So my challenge to the Democrats is you control the United States Senate, vote on the president's budget. Let's see how that goes down.
Why do you think that Democratic-led Senate, or the current Democratic-led, why do you think they haven't offered a budget? What are they afraid of?
It's been more than 1,000 days, and we wonder what kind of financial mess we're in when Harry Reid and the senators there in the United States Senate won't even pass a budget, won't even discuss, debate, vote on a budget, vote on the president's budget. You can see why we're in such a mess, because they don't have a plan, and they certainly don't have a plan to balance the budget. But I think what you'll see from the House Republicans is a plan to balance the budget.
Well, but again, what are they afraid of?
Because it's an election year. But problem in Washington, D.C. is it's perpetually an election year because they don't have a plan. That's the fundamental challenge.
Is it your expectation, then, that nothing gets done, that Washington is checked out, and they're looking toward the election in November?
Well, look, we can only take responsibility for ourselves. The House Republicans, we are going to push forward a budget under Paul Ryan's leadership. I think before Easter we will actually pass out a budget, and then it's going to be back up to the Senate. But if the president and his administration is not going to call upon the Senate to deal with this issue, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, and this is what Democrats will say about your budget when that happens in April, if the schedule follows as you just described here. They're going to say your approach is all one-sided. All you're doing is going after middle-income Americans. What do you say?
No, we got to take some responsibility. There need to be some adults in the room who take some responsibility for this budget and put us on a path to some fiscal sanity around here. There are too many people in Washington, D.C. that don't believe that the debt even matters. But it does matter. It affects everybody's quality of life. And all too quickly, we're willing to put that on our grandchildren and their children's backs for some short-term gains. We've done enough of the stimulus. That's why I want to fire Barack Obama, quite frankly, because we need some executive leadership in that White House to get us back on our fiscal path.
Jason Chaffetz, enjoy your time back in your home district. We'll talk to you again very soon. Out of Utah today.
Thanks, Bill.